Hello everyone. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the performance of various anti-ship submarine launched missiles. Now, there's quite a few of these, and everybody's classically terrified of your typical submarine launched missile attack because all of a sudden you're just kind of going along and the ocean explodes, and all of a sudden there's 60 missiles coming your direction from completely, whoa, what happened here? Now, the interesting thing about anti-ship missiles is they've evolved quite a bit. In the early days, basically, you took a MiG-15, stripped out the cockpit, and now put a radar in the nose. And since then, they've got a little more sophisticated. So what we have here is we have a pretty straightforward convoy. By straightforward, probably the least straightforward convoy in the history of convoys, as a matter of fact. It consists of, let's see here, we have the New Thermania, we have the Admiral Kuznetsov, we have a commercial cruise liner, we have the Wichita in here, we have an Osaka, we have the Dubna, we have the Bainbridge, we have a commercial tanker, and it's absolutely chaotic. So it'll be very, very interesting here to see exactly what the results of this are going to be. And knowing me, probably not going to have a lot of results for the older missiles, but we're very interested to see how the newer missiles do. So let's go ahead and do it. So the first one we're going to go ahead and launch is everybody's favorite classic missile, and that, of course, is the UGM-84 Lima Harpoon. Now, the Harpoon was originally designed basically as an anti-submarine missile because in the old days, if you wanted to launch anti-ship missiles from a sub, you'd actually surface and just open the door and fire, which is kind of awkward. Whiskey Twin Clone is the one you're looking for, by the way. So they basically came up with this weapon. It's a curious missile. It's a kind of like, in my mind, not the OG anti-ship missile. We have something for that. I think it's a KS-15 is the one. Here it is. KS-1 Con is the one I'm thinking of here. This is even more old school than that one. The upside, downside of a Harpoon, of course, is it's simple. It's a little weapon. It's got a pretty good sized warhead. I think it's something like a 500-pound warhead, which is enough. It'll definitely start some fires. It's also incredibly reliable, and it has a range of about 75 nautical miles. The downside to the underwater launched Harpoon, of course, if you take a look at it, other than a very limited range active radar seeker, I like how it's a passive radar seeker, that's kind of a nice touch, is the fact that it's not very fast. It's a very, 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 very slow weapon. As a matter of fact, if you come down here, you can see that it gets about 0.86 Mach. Fortunately, it's low altitude. It is a sea-skimming weapon, which makes it a little bit harder to detect. So we have to get within 75 miles of this, and I'm really looking forward to that here. So let's go ahead and move ourselves to about, we'll call it right there. It looks like a pretty good spot. So let's give it a shot. So I'm doing Shift F1, holding down Shift, dragging a box around the whole party here. So I'm going to go ahead and allocate 2 missiles for each one of these. So let's grab my UGM-84L. We're going to do 2 missiles. I'm going to click on Allocate. Now, in my opinion, I don't think any of these missiles will actually strike a target. You know, if I were to speed this up a little bit here, because you actually have to target. I mean, it is going to be a cha-cha line of missiles basically coming out of my sub. Granted, there's a lot of them, so that makes it a little bit harder for the other team. But as you can see, Now, one of the fun things to do with this, of course, is if you do have TAC view here, this is always fun to watch because you can actually Control V. I'm switching to God's Eye view real quickly here. One of the reasons this is fun is if you go to 3D view real quickly here, just give this a few seconds to boot up, you can actually see that cha-cha line of missiles coming in here, and you can see there's a big group of ships, and you got a really good idea of the different scale of all these different vessels. Like the Wichita is this little tiny thing, the Iowa's sitting there in the middle kind of doing its thing, and there's this massive just wall of missiles basically sneaking up. I mean, when you look at it this way, it looks like we're going to lose this fight. But I can already say that the Harpoon is not going to do so well here. And as a matter of fact, I doubt many of them will strike a target, if any. Stand by for return fire. Begin. Here they go. Oh, yeah, that's working real well there. Oh, boy. That is just like fire, lightning, oh, my gosh. Oh, you might get through. Is he going to get through? Is he going to get through? And that was Garbo. Let me go ahead and slow down time again here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the results. So from what we saw there, I doubt any of those actually got through. As a matter of fact, if we go back to God's Eye view here, I can see that none of them penetrated the defensive screen here. And again, this isn't an incredibly strong defensive screen, but it is a thorough defensive screen. Let's go take a look at losses and expenditures real quickly here. So this is quite a few. That's 20, that's 30, 40, so about 50. So about, let's call it 2 interceptors for every one of my missiles, and nothing got through. So it did not work. So let's go ahead and reload our mission here. We'll go back to Testa here. I'll open that one up. Let's go try the next missile, which is the Exocet. Now, the Exocet's pretty famous. It is one of the missiles that actually did quite a bit of damage to real-world ships, which is pretty cool. Well, unless you're on the receiving end, I suppose. But the neat thing about this weapon, of course, is it's just classic. It's basically a really, really souped-up version of the Harpoon with its own kind of accoutrement. There's a few little things that make it different, however. One thing you're probably going to observe is the fact that its reliability is not quite as good, but more importantly, its range is terrible. It's a 28 nautical mile range on this thing. Speed-wise, it's actually faster than the Harpoon, which means you're going to have less time to respond to it. Downside, as I mentioned, is we have to get so much closer to it. So if I come over here, 28 knots, oh my goodness, look at how close we have to be. Oh, so in the real world, of course, if you brought a submarine this close to a big group of ships like this, they would fire their basically standoff torpedoes, and this would end very quickly. But we're here for science, so we got to give it a shot. Let's go grab all of these. We're going to grab the Exocet. We're going to give 2 each. We're going to go ahead and allocate that just like that. It's going to take us 36 seconds before the party starts. Let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit here. And 36 seconds has elapsed. All right, now this will be interesting. The Exocet, like I said, it's a much substantially faster. It's about a, 15% faster. And off they go. There's also a lot less time for our interceptors and our basically everybody to respond. So the incredible thing is, it's just the command and coordination required to fire this many missiles. Uh-oh, I don't think our Exocet's going to get through. Uh-oh. Oh, look at that. All right, let's see how we do with the Exocet here. Again, I would already have standoff torpedoes being fired at me at this particular point if I pull something that stupid. But if we come down here, we can see here that it's about the same. So about the same amount of interceptors were used here. And again, I use 32 of the Exocets. So not great. And those are kind of the legacy missiles, if you want to think about it. So now we're going to go take a look at the more modern missiles, starting with a nasty little piece of work known as a BrahMos. This is a pretty cool thing. It's a Papa Juliet 10. This is a neat missile. Basically, it's got the little bit on here, and then, of course, it has a much, much higher speed, and it also can sprint. The other thing that makes this weapon incredibly dangerous is the fact that if you take a look over here, you'll notice that it has a 2 to 160 nautical mile range, which is so much longer than anything else that we saw. The other thing you'll notice, about the same reliability. Harpoon's a little more reliable here. Now, where it gets really terrifying is not only do you have about a 440-pound warhead, which is enough. If you come down here, you can even see that its cruise speeds. There's a couple different cruise speeds. When we're at higher altitudes, we can do Mach 2.8, which is amazing. And in the lower altitudes, we do about 2.19. That's really, really fast. Now, very, very sharp-eyed people would probably catch the fact that I attached the wrong BrahMos missile. And the reason you know this, of course, is you can see a launch altitude. Don't worry, I'll fix it. All right, all fixed, don't worry. So the cool thing about the BrahMos is I have a much longer range to do the deed here. I'm kind of liking the fact I got this little island to kind of protect me here, so I'm going to fire from behind the island this time. How novel, right? Holding down Shift, select everybody, and we're going to grab them all together with Shift again. I'm going to go down to where it says BrahMos. Each of you gets 2. Now, you're going to have to share. I don't have unlimited supply. I only have 10,000. Okay. Watch this. Now, this is going to be a little different this time. We got to wait our aforementioned time. This weapon has such a different flight profile than everything else we've seen here. So let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit here so you can kind of get, take a look at the party as it starts here. So as you can see, this weapon is very, very, very low sea skimming, just like all the other weapons that we saw before. The difference is its staggering speed. If you take a look over here on the right, you'll notice that I'm doing 1,450 knots. I am not going slow here. So I'm going to fire my entire rack here. Oh. Imagine if you were a ship and you see this coming. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, this should be a little more interesting. So our interceptors, of course, we have new problems. When missiles start traveling at higher speeds like this, they become drastically harder to engage because not only do you have a smaller engagement window, but you also have to be a lot more precise because you're off by a tiny bit. That's more than enough to basically completely miss. Basically, you whiff the missile. So our first ones are coming in, again, 30 feet above sea level. And basically not like on the water, but 30 feet is enough. And they're closing in. Oh, boy. Imagine just seeing this little white line, basically, skimming towards you at stupidly high speeds here. So if I actually select, look at this thing. This is real time, by the way, so I'm not like accelerating. You can just get a feel for how incredibly fast this weapon is. You know, if I zoom out all the way here, you can just see how quickly they're closing the distance here between us and the ships. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of these ships will not be able to engage these weapons because they're too fast to actually be acquired properly. So that's going to be interesting for us, all right, not us, I should say, unfortunately, our receivers here. Some of the weapons will be able to engage, but you can see basically we had to wait to the last possible second to take that shot. This is a Sea Viper. Those will have no problem here. And now you can see they're just kind of spreading out all over the place. Our destroyers are doing what our destroyers do best here. They're taking kind of pot shots all over the place. I don't think it's going to be enough. Nope. Here we go. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out with this weapon is how accurately it's targeting the thing I shot at. Oh, boy. Now, I think that's out. Oh! No more Submarine. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Some of them are getting through. Not all of them. Oh, boy. Here we go. Oh, there's another one. And there's another one. And there's another one. You could see the minigun just firing happily into the sky, just basically wasting. You'll also probably observe several of the missiles. Actually, those are not our missiles. Those are their missiles. They're basically firing off into the woods there. Okay, let's take a look at the damage with the BrahMos missile here. I have a feeling we were a little more successful this time. So we got 4. We got the news Submarine. Oh, well. Coming down here, you can see they tried pretty darn hard. They fired a lot of weapons, but notice they didn't really have a lot of weapons they could use to actually fire off. You see all the stuff that got lost here. Of course, cost me 32 missiles. Those missiles ain't cheap. We can also see here that the Ro-Ro's gone. We can see the Bristol's gone. And incredibly, I think, where's our buddy, the Iowa? The Iowa didn't even take a hit there. Almost everybody received a hit. So if we fast forward time a little bit here, we can actually see that we're getting all sorts of fires. And am I getting shot back at? No, I guess not. And again, we're going to have a bunch of fires, and we run the risk. Like this guy's, no, he's put the fire out. He's on fire, but he's got it under control. Whoa, he's wicked on fire. Oh, very large crude container. Yeah, this guy, if we give him some time, that fire is going to win that fight. This guy, of course, just damaged. Again, we can damage these guys. And, of course, the LPG guys, oh, don't worry. The flooding will put the fire out. I'm pretty confident he's going to go swimming there. All right, let's go ahead and reset everything again. And this time we're going to go switch over to CIS Russian weapons here. And now we have 2 to pick from here. We have the P800 Onyx and we have the Caliber, which is a unique weapon to say the least. All right, let's go ahead and do my shift right click again here. I'm going to grab everybody. We're going to allocate 2 because we're polite. You must share. So this weapon is an interesting weapon as well. We'll take a look at the Onyx first. I'll just double click. Did I double click or did I not double click? Sometimes I don't know if I actually hit the button correctly. Nope, I definitely did not. Let's grab all those. Grab the Onyx. Boop. There we go. Now we know it worked. Fantastic. So the cool thing with this weapon is, if I open it up real quick, is it's very, very, very similar to the BrahMos missile here. You'll notice it is an incredibly long range, very, very low cruise altitude. It's pretty reliable. Not as reliable as a Harpoon, unfortunately, kind of a thing like that. It's got the same kind of general radar seeker on board, and as we come down here, one of the things you'll observe, it is also incredibly fast of a missile. This is not messing around as far as speed goes. This is, like I said, very, 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 very similar to the BrahMos. So let's go ahead and unpause there, and we'll let all of these missiles come off the rack. Remember, it takes 30 seconds to actually start shooting them. Oh, man, what a perfect setup of a shot there, because basically all they're going to see is when they pop over the terrain here, or when they start to show up. All right, so this is going to be a very, very similar engagement to the BrahMos missile on account of the fact that you're dealing with extremely high-speed projectiles, very, very short engagement times, and they're just incredible weapons. So here they come. Here comes a little guy in the front here. He's doing 1,450 knots. He's moving. Oh my gosh, a supersonic sea skimming missile. That's just not fair. Submarine launch too. First couple range. I don't think we've gotten a hit yet. No, nothing yet. Uh-oh, here comes our first one. Uh-oh. Oh! No. Oh, we're hit. We're hit. Oh boy. Here we go again. All right, doing what we can here. Doing what we can. Oh, whoa, that ship disintegrated. Wow, what a hit. Oh, that one almost hit. I think his Sea Whiz did. Oh, look at the guy with the Sea Whiz trying to do the best they can. Oh, that one got hit as well. Ouch. So take a look real quickly here. The Wichita's going to probably, that'll be a sink. That will be a sink. Let's see here. 50-50 on that one. I'll come over here to the crude tanker. That'll be fine. Just got hit. No, not too bad. So let's take a look at our losses and expenditures to the Onyx here. And you'll see we got 3 right away. We'll probably get 2 more for 5 total. So about the same as the BrahMos. Coming down here, you'll see we got very few weapons off. We definitely, probably about 30, 40, 50 weapons off total. Lost a ton of stuff here. And you can see it cost me 32 of these missiles, which again, subs can hold that many. So about the same as the BrahMos. Now, the last weapon we're going to be taking a look at today, of course, is going to be none other than the Calibrer. This is the Sizzler, as we would call it. This thing is incredible. So we got a couple fun little toys here. First of all, range is pretty good. It's not bad. It's going to be a sea skimmer, as you can see very clearly here. You can also see it's got about the same reliability as many of these weapons have. Scrolling down here, you can see that performance-wise, it is significantly slower than a lot of the other weapons that we saw, which makes it a little bit different of a weapon. Now, one of the cool things of the Sizzler is there's also the rocket booster. That's the T version of it. And what this does is it has a fun little toy on it, and what it will do at the last second is it'll pick up a ton of extra speed for the purposes of basically sneaking in. Let me see here. Terminal maneuver, zigzag, bearing on the launch, terrain. Let me see if I can find that one there. All right, we launched the missiles that we needed to launch here. Our Sizzlers are now safely on the way. We did 2 each. Sorry for the little interruption there. We had a little technical problem. But they're on the way, and zipping right in there. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Now, these weapons are pretty fun. They have a really neat trick. You'll notice they're only doing about 530 knots here. Watch what happens when they get a little closer. They speed up! Look at them go, look at them go! Isn't that a fun trick? Oh, is that awesome? Isn't that sweet? So that's one of the things that makes the Calibrer weapon so dangerous, is the fact that it's got that little zoom zoom at the end there. Now, the cool thing is if we bring up our view real quickly here, you'll see that we really only got, it looks like we only got, well, this guy, the Bristol's going down. We can see our very large cruise container. He's fine. He's just damaged. But if we go over to our losses and expenditures real quickly here, one of the things you'll notice is we got 3, basically the same amount as we did before. And you can see not a lot of weapons were fired in response to those incoming weapons. Of course, it cost us, it's because I deleted it by accident the first time. So you can see exactly how lethal that can be in a particular situation like this. Now, you're probably sitting here going, well, that was all kind of fun, but you never really sunk the convoy. Like, how would you sink the convoy? Well, the key to sinking the convoy is not letting them have a chance. So let's go ahead and shift one and grab this one. All right, so let's grab all these. Let's see here. Exosets ain't going to do it. Let's see here. BrahMos. I'll take one of these. We'll take 5 of those each. The Onyx will do 5 of those each, and the Calibrer will do 5 of those each. Let's see here. That should be enough. Pretty sure that's 240 missiles. Okay, you may now do the 1812. Here we go. Look at that. Come get some. Now, the interesting thing is, I think these are the BrahMos, so these are the fast ones. Where it's going to get really amusing is when we switch over to the Sizzlers to kind of finish the job here. Look at the fireworks! All right, we'll do a God's eye view here so we can watch the shenanigans. Do you ever feel somebody doesn't like you? Would you like to exterminate the fleet? How many missiles should we launch? Yes. Oh boy, here they go. They're starting. They're starting. We can see the Aquitaine here is kicking in here, starting the party. We can also see our lucky little, the Arleigh Burke back in the way there is getting started up as well. He's kind of doing his things. And they're trying. They're trying. This ain't going to go so well, I don't think. Wow, that's a lot of missiles. So you know these things called cha-cha lines? That's what I'm instantly reminded of. All right, here we go. Fireworks. Oh boy. Did you notice the reattack capability of several of the missiles? Like they arrive and they change their targets at the last second. I wonder if these are still the BrahMos. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, they're still the BrahMos. We haven't even gotten to the Onyx yet. Oh, did you see the reattack? Look at that. One of the things you'll find very fascinating is how many How many hits the Iowa will take? It's already up to 7, 8, 9, 10. It's still going. I feel very evil right now. I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh, this one's just not going down. Oh, that's the ultralight. He's on fire. He's going down. I would say the party's over. And as you can see, oopsies. These don't count. Oh, these are the Sizzlers. Oh. So, yeah, we obliterated that fleet. And the interesting thing, I think, you'll take a look here, is other than the fact we literally sunk the entire convoy, is, let's see here. You can see we went through quite a few of these for the purpose of the engagement there. And let's go see what the retail value of an Onyx, or I should say a Brahmos is. Eek. Let's see here. Get my calculator out here. That's 3, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 times 80. And actually, that was a pretty cheap attack. Pretty cheap attack. When you really come down to it, that was really cheap. I know it doesn't feel cheap, but the reality is I just sunk 16 vessels. They definitely punched way bigger than their weight. So I guess the conclusion here is anti-ship missiles are really, really dangerous. And I think the other conclusion is the modern ones, even though they work a little better than them, you're still going to need it a lot to get through the defenders. Enjoy.